I don't buy new cars, I don't buy brand names, I go to Goodwill for my clothes. I like to save money, I like to find bargains, it's the life I chose. I throw nothing away, I'll find a use another day for all this junk I keep. My neighbors all hate me, they abuse and berate me, 'cause I like doing it cheap. Yeah, I like doing it cheap. Welcome to another episode of Doing It Cheap.
Take 3. A while ago the battery, well, when I left you before, the battery had died on the camera. This is the next day. And so I charged up to come out here and I started telling you all about the stuff, like what we was doing, all that. And then the camera shut off because I wasn't recording. Oh, son. So anyway, let me bring you up to speed what's going on. What we had just done in that other clip was I had undone the 6 bolts, or removed the 6 nuts from these bolts that was holding this control panel on, because I wanted to see if this wiring harness connected to a voltage regulator, and it does not. Okay? Now your on-off switch, all the on-off switch does is separate your ground. When you plug into here, plug it into the wire that goes to the coil, and the other wire that goes straight to ground, what happens is, when you flip that switch, if you turn it off, you're closing the switch and you're grounding out your spark coil. And no spark, engine don't run. Also, we have I don't know if y'all saw me put this on or not. I don't think you did. But it's real simple. It's just 2 bolts. Now, this particular kit that I bought did not have the proper length bolts, so I had to go to Tractor Supply and get what I needed. I still had to put a few little washers in behind it and make sure it was secure. What this does, they call it a charging coil, and the idea behind it is to keep the battery charged. Okay, so when it's running, it charges your battery. Also, I don't know if y'all remember, well, I remember. Anyway, back in the old days, I had an old Cushman motor scooter, and it had this one wire coming out from behind the flywheel, and that one wire was my power. So when that motor was running, that was generating electricity, and it would power my lights. So my headlights would light up, and it was all well and good until the engine died, and then you had no power and you had no lights. So they call this a charging coil because it's supposed to keep the battery charged. Well, personally, I don't like the idea of sitting here saying, well, I'm charging that battery for 8 hours, 6 hours, 7, ever how many hours I'm letting that generator produce electricity. So what I want to do is I want to put a voltage regulator on here so that I don't overcharge the battery. And it's real simple. We'll be doing that in another video, but for the time being, we will not be hooking this circuit up. This circuit is not needed to make this thing an electric start. This is one circuit. The wire going to the coil is another circuit, and the whole purpose behind the coil here, let's see, The whole purpose behind the coil is just to create the spark. So when the flywheel comes around with its magnet, it excites a field and a spark is developed. So the only thing that this cable here is going to a switch and a low oil sensor. That's all. It don't have nothing to do with anything else that's back in there. That's all the generator. What did I do when the camera was down? I put 2 screws in right here to hold the starter on. That's it. Just these 2 screws. That's all I did. And then I mounted this charging coil with 2 screws. I had to put a few washers in it to make it snug up. They didn't send the exact bolts you needed. Okay. So now then, let's get in here and start putting this thing together and get this show on the road. I've been waiting since yesterday. They sent this little bitty plate right here, which I'm going to attach right there. They also sent this. I guess it's to keep dust out or something. Now, one of my pet peeves is when somebody starts a bolt or a machine screw with a power tool, like a, you know, like this impact wrench or electric drill or whatever. That is my pet peeve, to see somebody do that, because I worry to death about something getting cross-threaded. Well, I like to start it by hand. And we've got a screw that goes down there. Now, I'm not going to put that one in, because that one right there is for the flywheel cover, the shroud. So we're just going to line that hole up right there and then tighten this up. Okay. Let's see what else we can do. Well, I have to find another place to mount that. Let me take it off though while we're at it. Well, hell, I would drop it in this long-ass cardboard box full of nails. Son of a bitch. But ain't one thing, it's another. Let's try this shit again. Okay. That is the low oil solenoid, switch, whatever. We will find a place for that directly. And for all y'all that don't speak Southern, directly does not mean directly as in immediately. In the South, somebody says, I'll get to it directly. It's just like, whenever I get around to it. Technically it's directly, but we just say, I'll get to it directly. All right. This is secured. This coil is out of the way. Let's put the flywheel on. Now, you see, we got two magnets in here, and sometimes you'll see two charging coils. But regardless, that's what we got, and that's what we're using. Do not put anti-seize on your flywheel. Don't do it. You got three little pins here that line up three little holes here. Now I know I told you, do not use an impact wrench to tighten that nut. So do as I say, don't do as I do. I'm a highly trained professional. You need to leave this part to the pros. Because we know exactly how many foot-pounds that's supposed to be torqued to, see? I also opened this up. This is where your switch is. Circuit protector. Push on and off. Those line people. The only thing that's in here is a switch. That's it. That's it. Just a switch. And the white wire is what's supposed to connect to the charging coil. Okay? That's what the white wire does, because if we look in here at our switch, we find that it is on the same terminal as the red wire. So I will be hooking that up for now until I can check my voltage on my battery and all that, because I don't want to overcharge the battery. You got your hot wire that goes to the starter. And you've got some more black wires here going to connect to the coil and everything else. And then you've got a dedicated ground wire, this yellow and green. But there is no circuit protector. This is just a place to mount a switch. And it's just to look fancy. It don't accomplish a damn thing. And in my opinion, I would rather just saved a few dollars and just had a on-off switch, maybe a push button start, because this is just wasting your money. All that little fancy box and all that. Oh, that's so special. I'm so special. Yeah. Some people's children, I swear. But there's some people out there, if it ain't pretty, it ain't no good. It's got to be pretty. Pretty, my head. I ain't figured out where I want to mount that yet. Okay. Let me go get a business card, because that's our highly respected feeler gauge that we use when we put these coils on. Folks, do you know how you can tell when you are YouTube famous? Woo! I was at Harbor Freight yesterday, and the guy walks up to me, he says, "I like your videos." And I'm like, shit, I run into somebody that actually watches this. We'll just call him Mr. Smith. He lives in a town about 15 miles from here, maybe 12. But I just thought it's kind of cool. Somebody here local actually watches my stuff. Anyway, we have our bona fide business card here, and this is what we'll be using to set our points. So if you need a feeler gauge, you might want to holler at me and say, "Papa, I need one of them genuine feeler gauges for my coil."